Aboard the International Space Station, Expedition 24 flight engineers Doug Wheelock, Tracy Caldwell Dyson, and Shannon Walker fielded questions about life and work in space from KTRH Radio in Houston and the Houston Chronicle during a series of in-flight interviews on July 6th. Walker, who launched to the station June 16th on a Russian Soyuz rocket, is the first native-born Houstonian to fly in space.
All right, excellent. Shannon Walker, you have I was going to say a fellow woman aboard. That doesn't quite work, does it? Flight engineer Tracy Caldwell Dyson with you as well. Has it become kind of a clique there between the men and the women yet?
No, I wouldn't say it's a clique at all. We all work together very well.
Douglas Wheelock, I have to know, what was it like for all of you to spend Independence Day in space?
Well, it was really a great treat. Of course, it was a busy day for us because it was the day that our Progress resupply ship docked. That day on our second attempt, and so it was a great day for us, and very successful day, and it was actually very nostalgic for me. It was we got to spend some time with our Russian partners and just celebrating our independence in the U.S. and they celebrated with us, and it was quite an awesome moment to look down on our world and understand that we have no borders from this vantage point, and it was just a great day of celebration.
I have to know if you were able to see any of the fireworks from your vantage point up in space.
Unfortunately, no, we could not see any of the fireworks.
Shannon, you were the first Houston native to launch into space. I'm guessing you took some special mementos with you.
I did. I have a few mementos from Houston. I have a key from the city of Houston. I have a little plaque from Rice University, which is my alma mater, and then I also have a poster from the University of Houston, where my father taught for many, many years.
What is the real mission that you're particularly following there, Shannon? Is this I guess it's all laid out in advance. What exactly are you doing while you're on board the space station?
Well, during the 6 months that I'll be here, we actually all of us have a variety of jobs, and it just depends on what the needs of the ground are. We do everything from science, lots of different kinds of science, to maintenance and repairs. So I can't tell you exactly one particular thing that I'm doing, because we're doing lots of different things while we're here.
Tracy Caldwell Dyson, to you. While the astronauts there will be present for the end of the shuttle program, this has got to be a busy time for you, but yet bittersweet and nostalgic at the same time, is it not?
Yeah, I have to say, it's been busy since I got here about 3 months ago, and it's just now starting to kind of even out as we look forward to our spacewalks and some robotic arm operations, and there will be a shuttle coming after I leave. And from that respect, yeah, it's going to be bittersweet to leave this space station, which is just an amazing vehicle and in a most miraculous place, to be honest. But then to see our shuttles make their last flights to space and back, it brings a lot of joy knowing that. They've been so successful, and they've got us to where we are now, but we definitely are going to miss such an awesome, incredible vehicle.
Tracy, I'd like to know what you think at this point will be your most important memory from your experiences on the space station.
Wow. That is a hard one. To date, I guess my one of the most profound memories I have is when we said goodbye to our Expedition 23 crewmates as they made their way back to Mother Earth, and the three of us that flew up here together, Alexander and Michal and myself, were left alone on the space station for about 2 weeks before my Expedition 24 crewmates arrived. And I remember thinking one night that there were only 3 people in space, and I was one of them, and that was a pretty emotional moment for me. But I hope that those memories aren't over yet. We still got a little bit of time left, a half an increment, 3 months to go, and a spacewalk to look forward to, and just a lot of fun with my crewmates here.
Doug Wheelock, I have to ask you pretty much the same thing. If you have a memory that you would like to bring back with you, has it already been made? Are you still waiting for the ultimate memory?
Well, there are surprises that wait around each corner while you're here in space, and so we had one of those this weekend when we had to try again to redock this vehicle, and so each day is sort of magical in itself up here. From the subsystems on the space station to visiting vehicles and things, and doing a spacewalk has its own challenges and its own real personal memories as we get to experience that next month. But I think it's just the collection of daily memories up here that I'm trying to keep a journal and just kind of catalog those things that I can tell my grandkids one day.
Shannon Walker, I'd like to ask if there's any message that you would like to convey to your, I guess I would say, classmates at Westbury High School, where you attended here in Houston. What would you like to say to those kids, who, some of whom may be looking forward to a career like yours?
Well, I certainly hope that some of them will be looking forward to a career like mine. I would say to the kids, persevere. Life gives you a lot of challenges, but if you work hard, you can overcome just about any challenge or obstacle in your path. And always pursue your dreams. Maintain awareness of what you want out of life, and always work towards it. It may not always be easy, but you can get where you want to be.
Tracy Dyson, to you, if you could make one comment to the White House, the Bush administration, don't want to take this political, that is for sure, but if you could ask what is in store for this program, you don't want to be in the passenger seat, you want to stay in the driver's seat, what would be your pitch to keep our space program moving forward?
Oh, to put it in a nutshell, I mean, look at what we've done, and I'm not just talking about we NASA. I'm talking about we as a world. We're a collective country. We have put men on the moon. We have brought things back to Earth as a result of developing technologies to get us here into space. We've built this incredible space station, and it wasn't alone. We did it with our partner nations, Russia, Japan, Europe, all over the world, and we've brought them together here in space. We assembled this incredible vehicle in space, and gosh, if that isn't worth continuing, then I don't know what is. So I would say to the White House and our president that invest in our future, because we've got a lot of kids out there that are looking forward to getting here and to getting us beyond, and we can't let them down.
Shannon Walker, back to you. A very quick answer, because we're almost out of time. What exactly do you think that the space program will be okay without the shuttle?
I think the space program will have different challenges without the shuttle. We've certainly lost a capability, at least in the short term, to haul large amounts of cargo, massive amounts of cargo into space, and we've lost the capability to bring lots of hardware home, and that's going to present different challenges for us to maintain and work on the space station.
To Tracy Caldwell Dyson, Shannon Walker, Doug Wheelock, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and safe journey.
Thank you very much.
Station, this is Houston ACR that concludes the KTRH portion of the event. please stand by for a voice check from the Houston Chronicle.
Station, this is the Houston Chronicle. How do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear on the station.
Well, great. Good morning. I guess, first of all, question for Shannon, maybe talk about your feelings when you first reached the station. Were you relieved to be out of the Soyuz capsule, or were there other feelings going through your mind?
Oh, there were a lot of feelings going through my mind. I was very excited to be on the station after having worked on the ground for so many years, watching the station being assembled and working to maintain it and get it up and running. It was just so incredibly exciting to actually be here, to live on it. The Soyuz is a wonderful spacecraft, but it is small, so it was nice to have a little bit more space to move around in.
And Doug, I guess it's been almost 3 years since you were last at the station. How has it changed since then?
The changes have been incredible. We, on STS-120 back in 2007, we brought up the Node 2, and so I was thinking about it the other day, and we were actually docked on the Shuttle Discovery to the front end of the lab at that time, and now there's so much usable volume in laboratories forward of the lab now that it's just the U.S. segment has literally doubled in size, or even greater. And so it's a tremendous vehicle, and it looks so much different as we're approaching it now, as I approached it back 3 years ago. All the solar arrays are installed now, and it's a fantastic flying machine.
And Tracy, maybe talk a little bit about what it's like to have another woman on the station at the same time.
It's awesome. No, it is nice because now I'm not the only one that gets the finger pointed at them when there's long hair stuck in someone's food or in their face. It's a delight to have Shannon up here, and we're kindred spirits, and we're not really sure if that's because we're both female or just because we're a lot alike. But it is nice and a pleasant change to have a lady on board with me.
Yeah. Hey, so it's already been an active Atlantic hurricane season down here. Did anyone perchance see Hurricane Alex from space?
Our own Alexander did, actually. The commander of the space station was trying desperately to get pictures of the hurricane and out his crew quarter window, and much to his, I guess, disappointment, you could say, in one light, that he said that it looked mainly like a block of clouds, like a blanket of clouds, and you couldn't really make out the structure too well of the hurricane.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to have other opportunities in the coming months. What about the oil spill? Have any of you seen that from space, and how is that going to make you feel?
Of course, it's just tragic, the bits of news that we get up here. I was able to look out yesterday and out of the service module windows in the Russian segment, and we saw a little bit of the oil from stretching from New Orleans over to the western coast of Alabama, the Gulf Shores area, and just tragic. And another day I saw some of the fires that were burning, that they had burning off some of the oil in the middle of the Gulf. I saw that as well, and just tragic. And we hope and pray that we're able to get the leak stopped.
Shannon, the blog you've been writing there's been a lot of really good response to that from readers, so thank you for doing that. I wanted to ask you what it's like to access the internet from space. Is that challenging?
You know, that's kind of funny you ask. It is a little bit challenging, and to be honest, to date, I have not done that yet. It takes quite a bit of time to access the internet, and our connection to the ground is definitely not a broadband connection. So because I'm so busy during the day, I have not had the opportunity to access the internet. But it's good to hear that people are enjoying the blog, and I will definitely keep writing.
Thank you. Tracy, I wanted to ask you sort of about, as the construction winds up and you really sort of get into operational phase with the space station, maybe talk a little bit about maybe one of the scientific experiments that you're working on or that you're familiar with that you think is interesting and has some potential for some interesting results?
Well, I have to say that there's a lot of interesting science going on up here, and right now we're all involved in certain aspects of the human research and development. We are taking blood and urine samples based off of a nutritional study that we're doing to help understand the effects of potassium on bone loss. Like I said, we ourselves are subjects, and there's much work that we do on the ground prior to launching, actually, that goes into the study, as well as when we come back home. So that's kind of ongoing. And as Shannon mentioned before, we're doing various experiments up here on a daily basis, and I might be working one day on this one particular experiment, and then Doug or Shannon will be coming after me to finish it up. But one that I'm consistent with recently is one that is called coarsening. And it involves two metal alloys that are together and we're looking at combustion of these particles, and to understand better how combustion works in rocket engines, and to see how we can improve on that system. And really, I am not the brain of the operation. I am really just the hands-on technician, if you will. I'm the one that puts the experiment together up here, the hardware pieces, and I flip the switches and tell the ground what I see. It's really the brains behind it all are the people that are on the ground, the principal investigators, the scientists who dreamed up these experiments, and they're the ones that can speak beautifully about their experiments. All we can really shed light on are the fantastic setups that we perform up here.
Well, that was pretty modest. Thank you. Shannon, aside from your family, what do you miss most so far about being away from Houston and sort of unable to reach it?
That's a good question. I think it would probably be all the wonderful restaurants that we have in Houston. Houston's such a fantastic restaurant town, and just the variety in food, and being able to go out and get Mexican one night and Indian food the next night, and Thai food. We have a lot of variety on orbit, but it's just not quite the same.
I can imagine. Doug, let's talk a little bit about the difference of being a visitor to the space station for a couple of weeks on the shuttle, and actually living now on the station for 6 months. Talk about the differences in those experiences.
Well, huge difference. And when I was thinking about this, and Tracy and I are getting ready to do a spacewalk in about a month, and one of the biggest things that when you're just visiting on a shuttle, you don't have much time to learn how to control your body, whether it's floating around inside of the station or working on the outside of the station. It's very much a work. It's an art rather than a science, controlling your body positioning and your accelerations and things on your body. And so that's one of the first things I've noticed, that we've gotten a lot of practice doing that, and I think that will certainly make an EVA, a spacewalk, we'll have a little more finesse in that respect. The other is just sort of pacing yourself. The shuttle flights tend to be kind of a sprint, and very packed days, and very little margin for timeline delays, and the station is again a tightly packed schedule, but we run it more like a laboratory, and so there's a little bit of discretion you can use in how when you start and begin and end your daily tasks. So it's more of a life up here rather than just an all-out sprint.
I see. A final quick question for Shannon. What's been the biggest surprise so far that you maybe didn't expect, but have found now that you're in space?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I really have an answer for you. Every day brings new surprises and new challenges, but nothing really stands out. It's just the wonder of learning how to live in space.
I see. Well, thank you very much this morning. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.